So this is going to be a little bit different of a video today. It's just, it was renewed in my mind today because of what happened on somebody else's stream earlier today. But there are still a lot of YouTube creators that don't know what this is. So I wanted to kind of go through some things. It is online. You can Google it. I remember saying in someone's stream, I mentioned swatting. And they're like, what do you mean? What's swatting? We are going to tell you now what exactly this entails. So the headline for what I looked up says, what is swatting? Online harassment that's taken offline. Okay, so it doesn't stop at online. It doesn't stop with hackers just hacking into your information and calling it a day, and like harassing you. So basically, this article, and this is something that has happened earlier on. We're just hearing more about it now, but this article was written back in 2018 in July. So this actually says, one of the more troubling channels of online harassment is swatting. Swatting basically consists of falsely reporting an emergency to local public safety services and first responders in order to send these services, SWAT, Special Weapons and Tactics teams, to a location where no emergency actually is occurring. The perpetrator of these calls works to send these emergency services to someone's house as a prank. And they do this starting off online. They will get your location through your IP address, okay? And then find out where you are and call your local law enforcement. So they send these services to someone's house as a prank, with the ultimate goal being to scare, humiliate, and terrorize the victim. Why is swatting characterized as part of online harassment? Because the intimidation actually starts online, in a forum, in a chat window, in a live stream, etc. Harassers stalk their intended victims online, gathering more and more information, and then use that information to perpetrate offline harassment like swatting. Swatting is more than just a prank. Swatting takes online harassment to a completely new level, escalating the level of threat and potential harm. The effects of swatting are threefold. 1, cost to the community. SWAT teams are highly trained emergency response personnel. The cost of this training does not come cheaply, and using these services under false pretenses is a waste of community resources. In addition, precious time and energy is spent chasing down these false calls, bomb threats, active shooter scenarios, threats of an imminent shooting rampage, hostage scenarios, and threats involving chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, or explosive agents that could be spent dealing with actual, real emergency situations. So the person that's getting swatted is not the only victim. There are going to be other potential victims out there because the services are being wasted on something that is not true. And something could be occurring out there that really is happening, and those resources are spent chasing down a fake call because somebody thinks it's funny. It's ridiculous. Okay, because I'm heated, you guys. After what I saw happen today, and knowing of 2 other people that I am subscribed to that have been swatted, it pisses me off. It pisses me off. So, the next one, the boy who crawled wolf scenario. Swatting trivializes emergency situations, causing emergency responders to think twice before responding. And I've thought about that too. According to Roger Hickson, the Technical Issues Director of the National Emergency Number Association, false 911 calls, or False calls to 911 waste the time and resources of the PSAP and the responders and can delay handling of real emergencies in busy time frames at the PSAP. Faked 911 calls and related information also generate uncertainty as to the validity of other calls, which may be real emergencies. So you guys who are out there, if you're watching me and you're like, hey, this swatting thing is fun, I like to do this to people, think about what you're doing. You're putting other people in harm's way that aren't even your intended victim. Like, why do you get off on this? I don't understand. Find something else to do with your time. Seriously. Anyway, back. Fear, humiliation, and potential collateral damage. As we will see in the following examples, swatting can be terrifying. The intent to cause this kind of reaction in their victims makes swatters incredibly dangerous. Tense situations such as this, where armed police officers enter into a home where a potentially dangerous situation is taking place, is fraught with risks, not only to the intended victim of the prank, but also to the people living in the house with him or her, as well as to the police officers themselves. Examples of swatting. A recent statistic, and when I say recent, it's based on this article, and this is back in July of 2018. A recent statistic released from the Federal Bureau of Investigation estimates that there are approximately 400 swatting attacks every year, based on information gathered from local law enforcement, monitored social media channels, and interviews with both victims and perpetrators. The range of people who have experienced, I can't read you guys. The range of people who have experienced harassment in the form of swatting is quite varied. Celebrities such as Tom Cruise, Kim Kardashian, the Russell brand have all been victims of swatting. Regular people just living their lives are also the victims of swatting. Their only crime being on the internet. Here are more examples of swatting. David Hogg, an outspoken proponent of gun control after surviving the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School mass shooting in February 2018, was swatted a few months after the shooting. The caller claimed there was a barricaded person inside Hogg's home. No one was in the home at the time, but authorities responded to the prank with a full SWAT team. Another one, a 19-year-old Washington State man was charged by California authorities after pretending to be calling from the home of a married California couple, saying he had just shot and murdered someone. A local SWAT team arrived on the scene, and the husband, who had been asleep in his home with his wife and 2 young children, heard something and went outside to investigate, after first stopping in the kitchen to pick up a knife. What he found was a group of SWAT assault rifles aimed directly at him. Fortunately, the situation didn't escalate and no one was injured. I mean, come on, people. This is not a prank. This is not funny. It shouldn't be funny to you. You are risking people's lives. It is not a prank. It is a life-threatening situation. Can you tell I'm hot about this? Another one. 6 Vermont schools belonging to the Chittenden Central Supervisory Union were shut down after an armed person threatened to appear in Essex High School, prompting the closure. Another one. U.S. Air Force veteran Joshua Peters was swatted while playing RuneScape. Armed police officers stormed into Peters' Minnesota home, all in front of an online audience of about 60,000 people. I see you posting my address. I had police point a gun at my little brothers because of you. They could have been shot. They could have died because you chose to swat my stream. Another one, an online Counter-Strike match live streamed on Twitch by YouTube gamer Jordan Mathewson was raided by SWAT officers in Littleton, Colorado after a 911 caller claimed a man had shot several co-workers in the Creatures LLC office building he was playing in. That day, YouTuber Armand Johnson uploaded a recording of the incident, which gathered upwards of 2.3 million views and 9,800 comments in the next 48 hours. Is swatting legal? Federal United States law prohibits using the telecommunication system to falsely report a bomb threat, hoax, or terrorist attack. Falsely reporting other emergency situations is not currently prohibited. Swatting exploits this loophole. There have been a number of legal acts and bills introduced in both states and at the federal level to address this shortcoming, with more on the way. However, the biggest challenge to pushing these laws through seems to be that most swatters are under the age of 18. Swatting as a crime will continue to go largely unpunished until more states are able to successfully pass anti-swatting laws that address these loopholes. The motivation behind swatting. If you read swatting stories that include interviews with the perpetrators, the motive at the very top of the list for this level of harassment is that they did it for bragging rights. Come on, you guys. Bragging rights? You're risking people's lives for bragging rights. I can't even tell you how disgusted I am. Really. Basically, they did it to show other people that they could pull it off. Swatting is online harassment taken to a whole new level. It requires a certain level of sophistication, homework, and sheer persistence in order to get the amount of information required to swat someone. You guys, use your smarts for something productive. I mean, you're obviously smart. You obviously have some brains, so because you can find this stuff out. Use your smarts to be productive in your community. I mean, really. I don't understand. Is it gonna take somebody swatting you and somebody getting hurt that you love for you to get it? A physical address, a viable way to mask the phone number that the perpetrator is calling from, and a somewhat believable story are the three key ingredients that the harasser needs in order to pull this off. While some might be tempted to look at swatting as just another prank, we would caution readers to look at it more seriously. Swatting, along with doxing, which I'd have to look up, is a tactic used to harass and intimidate and has the potential to cause life-threatening harm. Swatting seems to be most common among the gaming community, especially in online gaming communities such as Twitch. While once it was somewhat difficult to see the results of swatting, nowadays with Twitch users live streaming gameplay, I'm sorry, you guys. It's possible for the perpetrator to see their hoax in real time, watching along with everyone else on that channel as police and other emergency personnel respond to a potential emergency situation. These incidents have been recorded and are passed around on online forums as bragging fodder for even more swatting calls. Swatting and how it's done. There is some homework that a potential swatter needs to do before attempting to pull this off. In other words, someone can't see what you're doing on the internet and instantly ascertain all the information that they need in order to do this. However, there are clues that these online harassers look for that will give them a trail of breadcrumbs to the information that they need. Okay. How harassers get your information. Usernames. Perhaps you use Twitch, an online gaming community, to share your love of Minecraft. If you're using the same using the same username that you've used on a couple of other online platforms, something that is very common, by the way. That is something that someone can use to start putting together information about you. Follow the clues. A simple username plugged into Google and other online search services can potentially reveal phone numbers, email addresses, place of work, relatives, social media platforms, and personal home addresses. Personally connected social media with public profiles can yield an amazing amount of information to those who are willing to look for it. A publicly shared email address can lead to a personal Facebook account with a public facing profile, which can lead to a Twitter account with workplace information and so on. Domain registration. If you own a website and have shared the URL on that site online, this is a gold mine to online harassers. Why? Because domain name registration does not obfuscate? I've never heard that word. Your private registration information. Name, address, phone number, and email address. By default, you must pay for that at the time of registration. So in order to hide that, you've got to pay for it. None of this information can be found in one place, but by carefully putting it together one piece at a time, a persistent online harasser will, with time on his or her hands, can eventually get what they need in order to make your life miserable. The online harassment could start with name calling in a chat window, inappropriate pictures sent to a private message box, or insults traded in a public or private forum. Swatting takes online harassment offline by providing that they not only know who you are on the internet, but offline as well. Now, harassers can mask where they are calling from. Services originally designed to help people who are hard of hearing are exploited for the purpose of harassment. Swatters use these services to call with complete privacy and anonymity, and the receiving operator reads the transmission to the intended victim on the other end of the call. There are other ways to mask where the phone number is actually calling from. For example, caller ID spoofing, social engineering tricks, including using a third party to relay information, but this method is one of the easiest to exploit. The believable story. Remember the homework that swatters need to do in order to pull off a successful swatting? Here's where it comes in handy. In order to get the emergency responder to believe that this is a real incident worth a response, tidbits of actual personal information are inserted into the call: address, full name, other identifying information. Once the harassers have the information that they need, they can watch in real time as they retaliate against their victim, while hundreds, even thousands of people watch the swatting occur on their Twitch live stream, or YouTube as the case may be, Facebook live account, or YouTube live streaming video. They can do this from around the world in any location that has phone service and an internet connection. How to guard against swatting. While there's no one-step solution that will completely guard against swatting, there are certainly measures you can take right now to safeguard your privacy and safety online and offline. 1. Use different usernames for every service you register for. Yes, this is a pain. However, many of us have gotten into the unfortunate habit of using the same username across many different services. This practice puts us at risk of being doxxed, swatted, and harassed online. Privacy is worth a brief inconvenience. 2. Make sure your domain information is private. It's easy to make this information private, and it's worth the extra $5 to $10 a year to give yourself that peace of mind. 3. Report online harassers. Every online platform from Twitch to Twitter has a way to report online harassment. Keep a paper trail. What number am I on? Let's just say we're on to the next one. Don't give out personal information. This should be obvious, but online harassment tactics are getting more and more sophisticated. Never give out personal information to someone you've met online and do not know personally. Do not open suspicious emails. If you get an email that seems a bit off or is from someone you do not know, don't open it. Better safe than sorry. Community online, how to keep it safe. The web is a vast network of community. We use it to connect with people all around the world in every corner of the globe, and whatever interest or hobby we might be interested in, we can probably find someone else to share it with. Sharing mutual interests in an online community that celebrates each individual's unique contributions is wonderful, but this community comes with a price. As online communities become more prevalent, along with the opportunity to share and broadcast live to a watching audience, so does the risk of being harassed by people in the audience who don't necessarily agree with what you may be doing, who you are, or what you stand for, or just because you exist. And we'll take steps to let you know. There's quite a bit more you can do to make sure that your safety and privacy online are at the highest levels they can be. Read the following resources to make sure you are protected. So then they have resources listed. So, guys, this is a serious matter. I don't understand why people think that this is funny. You're putting people's lives at risk. It's not a game. It's not a game. You are playing with people's safety. It's not just a prank that, ooh, I got them scared. Yay, I succeeded. Not only are you getting people scared, you're going to get them killed. I'm probably talking to people who don't care if there are any potential swatters out there that are watching. You probably don't care, and this is probably falling on deaf ears, but I'm going to say it anyway, because use your brains, people. Think about it as in your family. Would you want something like that to happen to people you love? Do you? Really? I'm sure there's people you love. Do you want it to happen to people you love? If not, don't do it to somebody else, because somebody out there loves them and you are risking their lives. I mean, come on. So now that this video is like 20-ish minutes long, and I hope you guys watch it, I just needed to get this out there because a lot of people in the YouTube community that do live streams don't know what swatting is. There still are many people who don't. So I wanted to put that out there, and so that people like us who do live streams can be aware that this happens and protect ourselves. So I hope you guys watch the entire video, get the information that you need to protect yourselves, and any potential swatters out there, get a life. Use your smarts for something better. Put yourself in your victim's shoes. Would you want this to happen to your loved ones? I mean, come on, think it through. So, there we go. It's my soapbox. I'm just concerned about people out there because it can get very dangerous, and it's not a game. It's not a game. It's not funny. It's not a game. It needs to be taken seriously, because one day, I mean, so far, the people that I've heard about that have been swatted are okay. But that doesn't mean that's going to continue. One day, it is going to turn sour for somebody. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Have a great night, guys.